Every night, something inside you tries to speak. While you sleep, a part of your own mind, a part you rarely listen to, sends you messages in the strange language of dreams. Images, scenes, feelings that make no sense in the morning, that you shrug off and forget before your coffee is even poured. But Carl Jung, one of the most important psychologists who ever lived, spent his entire career studying those messages. And he came to a startling conclusion: that your dreams are not random noise, not meaningless static from a tired brain, but genuine communications from the deepest part of yourself, the unconscious, trying to tell you something you desperately need to hear. And most people ignore them completely. They wake up, forget the dream, and walk back into a life quietly steered by forces they've never once stopped to understand. If you've ever woken up from a dream that stayed with you, that felt like it times meant times something, even though you couldn't explain it, type "My dreams speak to me" in the comments right now. Not because it's mystical, but because that feeling you had was real. A signal from a part of your mind that knows things your waking self doesn't. And learning to listen to it might be one of the most important things you ever do. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand what Jung discovered about the hidden mind steering your life and why the dreams you keep ignoring have been trying to save you all along. Let's start with the idea at the center of everything Jung taught, that you are not just your conscious mind. The you that you think of as yourself, the voice in your head, the one making decisions, the one reading these words, is only a small part of who you actually are. Beneath it lies something vast, the unconscious. A hidden reservoir of everything you've forgotten, everything you've repressed, everything you've never allowed yourself to know about yourself, your buried fears, your denied desires, your hidden potentials, the parts of you that don't fit the image you show the world. Jung understood that this unconscious is not a dead storage closet, but a living, active force that shapes your life, constantly influencing your moods, your choices, your relationships, your reactions, all from beneath the surface, without your conscious awareness. You think you're running your life from the conscious mind, but a huge part of what drives you comes from a place you've never even looked. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This is one of Jung's most piercing insights, and I want you to really sit with it. He's saying that the parts of yourself you refuse to look at don't disappear. They operate from the shadows, steering your life from beneath your awareness, and because you can't see them, you experience their effects as fate, as bad luck, as things that just keep happening to you. Why do you keep ending up in the same kind of relationship? Why do you keep sabotaging yourself at the same point? Why do the same patterns repeat again and again, as if some invisible hand were arranging them? Jung's answer is that the invisible hand is your own unconscious, the parts of yourself you haven't made conscious, and until you turn and look at them, they'll keep directing your life while you call the results just how things go. The unconscious made conscious becomes choice. The unconscious left in the dark becomes fate. And here is where dreams come in, because dreams are the great doorway to that hidden mind. Jung believed that in sleep, when the controlling, censoring conscious mind relaxes its grip, the unconscious finally gets to speak, and it speaks through dreams. A dream, in Jung's view, is a message from the unconscious to the conscious mind, an attempt by the deeper self to communicate something the waking self has been ignoring or refusing to see. The strange imagery isn't nonsense, it's the native language of the unconscious, which thinks in symbols and images rather than words. And every dream, however bizarre, is trying to tell you something about a part of yourself you've neglected, a truth you've been avoiding, a direction you need to take, a wound that needs healing. Your dreams are letters from the deepest part of you, and most people throw them away, unopened, every single night. The dream is a little hidden door in the innermost and most secret recesses of the soul. Jung saw dreams as an opening a small door into the deepest parts of yourself, parts you cannot access any other way. In waking life, your conscious mind is in control, filtering, censoring, keeping the uncomfortable truths of the unconscious safely out of sight. But in dreams, that door swings open, and what's hidden in the depths can finally come through. This is why dreams so often show us things we don't want to see, feel things we don't let ourselves feel, reveal desires and fears and truths our waking mind keeps locked away. The dream is the one place the censored self gets to speak freely, and Jung understood that if you learn to listen at that little hidden door, to pay attention to what comes through it, you gain access to a wisdom about yourself that your conscious mind, on its own, could never reach. Now, let me explain why the unconscious bothers to send these messages, because this is the part that changes how you see your dreams forever. Jung believed the unconscious is not your enemy. It's not trying to torment you or confuse you. It's actually trying to help you, to guide you toward wholeness, toward becoming the complete person you're meant to be. Jung called this process individuation, the lifelong journey of integrating all the scattered, hidden, denied parts of yourself into a whole, complete self. And the unconscious, through dreams, is constantly nudging you along that path, showing you what you've neglected, what you need to face, where you've gone off course. What parts of yourself are crying out to be acknowledged and integrated? Your dreams are the unconscious's way of trying to make you whole. They're not random, they're purposeful. They're the deepest part of you, trying to guide you home to yourself. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Jung understood that the great task of a human life is not to become who others want you to be or who you pretend to be, but to become who you truly, fully are, to realize the complete self that lies latent within you. And your dreams are one of the main ways the unconscious guides you toward that becoming. Every dream that shows you a neglected part of yourself, every dream that surfaces a buried fear or an unlived desire, is the unconscious pointing you toward some piece of your wholeness that's waiting to be reclaimed. The person who learns to listen to their dreams is being guided night after night toward their own completion, toward becoming who they truly are. And the person who ignores their dreams is refusing that guidance, staying fragmented, staying partial, never quite becoming the whole self they were meant to be. Let me make this concrete, because I don't want this to stay abstract. Think about the recurring dream, the one that comes back again and again in different forms. Jung would say a recurring dream is the unconscious raising its voice, repeating its message because you haven't listened yet. It keeps coming back because whatever it's trying to tell you remains unaddressed, and the unconscious, like a patient teacher, keeps sending the lesson until you finally receive it. Or think about the nightmare, the dream so disturbing you wake in fear. Jung wouldn't see a nightmare as your mind being cruel to you. He'd see it as the unconscious using intensity to get your attention, forcing you to confront something you've been too successfully avoiding. The more you ignore the message, the louder and more disturbing the dream becomes, because the unconscious is trying, with increasing urgency, to make you finally look at what you need to see. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. Jung was honest about the fact that facing what the unconscious reveals is not always comfortable, that becoming aware of the hidden parts of ourselves involves real pain. The dream that disturbs you, that shows you something you don't want to see, is painful precisely because it's showing you a truth your conscious mind has been protecting you from. But Jung understood that this pain is the necessary price of growth, of wholeness, of becoming conscious. The alternative, staying comfortably unconscious, refusing to look at what the dreams reveal, keeps you safe from the pain, but also keeps you fragmented, stuck, ruled by forces you won't face. The pain of coming to consciousness is the pain of growth, and it's a pain worth choosing, because on the other side of it is a wholeness and freedom you can't reach any other way. The disturbing dream isn't attacking you. It's inviting you into the painful, necessary work of becoming whole. Now let me tell you what specifically your dreams are so often trying to show you, because Jung identified clear patterns. The most important one is what he called the shadow, the parts of yourself you've rejected, denied, and pushed into the unconscious because they didn't fit the image you wanted to have of yourself. Your anger, your selfishness, your desires, your weakness, your darkness, all the parts you've disowned and hidden, even from yourself. And dreams are one of the main ways the shadow surfaces. That threatening figure chasing you in a dream, that dark stranger, That part of the dream that frightens or disgusts you, Jung would often say that's your shadow, a rejected part of yourself, appearing in disguise, asking to be acknowledged. Because the shadow doesn't want to destroy you, it wants to be integrated, to be accepted back into the whole of who you are. So it stops operating from the shadows and starts adding its energy to your conscious life. Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. Jung understood that the more we refuse to acknowledge our shadow, the more we push it out of our conscious awareness, the darker and more powerful it becomes in the unconscious, and the more it controls us from beneath the surface. The shadow you refuse to face doesn't go away. It grows, festers, and eventually erupts in ways you can't control, in sudden rages, in self-sabotage, in the very behaviors you most despise. But the shadow you acknowledge, that you allow into consciousness and integrate, loses its dark power and becomes a source of energy and wholeness. And your dreams are constantly presenting your shadow to you, giving you the chance to see it, acknowledge it, and integrate it. The frightening figures in your dreams are not there to terrify you for no reason. They're parts of yourself, asking to come home. And the more you ignore them in your dreams, the more they'll rule you in your waking life. So how do you actually start listening? How do you stop throwing away these nightly messages and begin receiving them? Jung's approach points toward real practical steps, and I'll give them to you clearly. The first is simply to start remembering and recording your dreams. Most people forget their dreams within minutes of waking, which means the message is delivered and immediately lost. So the practice is to keep a notebook by your bed, and the moment you wake, before you do anything else, write down whatever you can. Remember the images, the feelings, the fragments, however strange or incomplete. At first, you may remember little, but the very act of trying to remember trains your mind to hold on to dreams. And over time, you'll remember more and more. You cannot listen to a message you've forgotten. So the first step is simply to catch the dream before it slips away, to treat it as worth remembering, as a letter worth opening, rather than static to be discarded. The unconscious is the larger circle, which includes within itself the smaller circle of the conscious. Jung is reminding us here of the true proportion of the mind, that our conscious awareness is only a small circle within the vast, larger circle of the unconscious. Most of who we are, most of what drives us, lies outside our conscious awareness, in that larger circle. And this is why paying attention to dreams matters so much. They're one of the few ways the vast unconscious can communicate with the small conscious mind. One of the few bridges between the tiny part of yourself you know and the enormous part you don't. When you honor your dreams, you're honoring the larger part of who you are, opening a channel between your small conscious self and the vast reservoir of wisdom, energy, and truth in your unconscious. Ignore your dreams, and you stay trapped in the small circle, cut off from the larger self that contains it. The second practice is to explore your dreams through reflection, rather than looking up quick, generic meanings. Jung was deeply skeptical of one-size-fits-all dream dictionaries that claim a snake always means one thing and water always means another. He understood that dream symbols are personal, that what an image means depends on what it means times to you, on your own associations, your own life, your own psyche. So instead of looking up what a symbol means, Jung's method was to sit with each image and ask, what does this bring up in me? What does this remind me of? What feelings does it carry? How does this connect to what's happening in my life right now? This personal exploration, following the images into your own associations, is how you begin to decode the dream's message. The dream was made by your unconscious, in your personal symbolic language, for you. So the key to understanding it lies not in a dictionary, but in your own honest reflection on what these images mean to you. The dream shows the inner truth and reality of the patient as it really is. Jung believed that dreams don't lie, that whatever the conscious mind might be pretending or avoiding, the dream reveals the actual inner truth of the person as it really is. This is what makes dreams so valuable. They cut through the self-deception of the waking mind. In waking life, you can tell yourself you're fine when you're not, that you've moved on when you haven't, that you want one thing when you really want another. But the dream, arising from the unconscious, shows the truth beneath the pretense, the real feelings, the real conflicts, the real state of your inner world. This is why paying attention to dreams is such a powerful path to self-knowledge. They show you what's actually going on inside you, beneath the stories your conscious mind tells. If you want to know your own inner truth, not the version you perform, but the reality your dreams, are one of the most honest mirrors you'll ever find. The third practice is to look for the message, the guidance, the thing the dream is trying to tell you. Once you've remembered a dream and explored its images, ask the deeper question. What is this trying to tell me? What part of myself is this pointing to? What am I neglecting, avoiding, or needing to face? What direction is my unconscious nudging me toward? Remember Jung's view that the unconscious is trying to guide you toward wholeness, so approach each dream as guidance, as a message with a purpose, and ask what that purpose might be. Sometimes it's showing you a shadow you need to integrate. Sometimes it's surfacing a feeling you've been suppressing. Sometimes it's pointing toward a change you need to make, a truth you've been avoiding, a part of your life that needs attention. The dream is trying to help you. Your job is to ask sincerely what it's trying to say, and then to actually listen to the answer. The dream is a spontaneous self-portrayal in symbolic form of the actual situation in the unconscious. Jung is telling us precisely what a dream is, a spontaneous symbolic self-portrait of what's actually happening in your unconscious right now. It's a snapshot of your inner state, painted in the imagery of the deeper mind, showing you the actual situation beneath your awareness. And because it's spontaneous, not manufactured by your conscious will, but arising freely from the depths, it's honest in a way your deliberate thoughts often aren't. When you learn to read this symbolic self-portrait, you gain a window into your own inner situation that nothing else can provide. What's really troubling you? What's really developing in you? What conflicts are really at work beneath the surface? The dream is your unconscious showing you a portrait of yourself as you actually are, right now. And learning to read that portrait is learning to know yourself at a depth almost no one ever reaches. Now let me address the skeptic, because you might be thinking, this all sounds like a lot to read into some random brain activity during sleep. Here's what I'd say. You don't have to believe every dream is a cosmic message to benefit enormously from taking your dreams seriously. Even at the most practical level, your dreams are your own mind, processing your own life, your fears, your unresolved conflicts, your suppressed feelings, your deepest concerns. So even if you set aside all of Jung's deeper theory, paying attention to your dreams is paying attention to what your own mind is working through beneath your awareness. And that alone is worth doing, because the things your mind processes in dreams are the things affecting your waking life, whether you look at them or not. The choice isn't between dreams are magic and dreams are nothing. It's between staying unaware of your own inner life and starting to understand it. Jung simply showed us that the second option is available and that dreams are the doorway. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. Jung understood that real clarity, real awakening, comes not from looking outward at the world, but from looking inward at your own depths, and that the person who only looks outside remains, in a sense, asleep, while the person who turns inward truly awakens. Your dreams are an invitation to look inside, to turn your attention from the endless outer world toward the vast inner world you've been ignoring. And in that turning inward, in learning to listen to what your unconscious has been trying to tell you all along, you begin to awaken, to become conscious of the hidden forces shaping your life, to know yourself at a depth you never have, to become whole. The outer world will always be there, clamoring for your attention. But the awakening Jung points to happens when you finally turn inward and start listening to the deep self that speaks every night in dreams. Here is what Jung ultimately understood and what I want you to carry out of all of this. You are far more than your conscious mind. Beneath the surface lies a vast unconscious, a reservoir of hidden truth, buried potential, denied parts of yourself, and a deep wisdom that's constantly trying to guide you toward wholeness. And every night, through your dreams, that deeper self reaches out to you, trying to tell you what you've neglected, what you need to face, who you're meant to become. Most people ignore these messages entirely. They wake, forget, and walk back into lives quietly ruled by unconscious forces they've never examined, calling the results fate. But you don't have to be one of them. You can learn to listen. You can open the little hidden door, receive the letters your deeper self sends each night, and let them guide you toward the wholeness and self-knowledge that Jung believed was the great purpose of a human life. And this changes everything, because the person who listens to their unconscious stops being ruled by it. Remember Jung's warning: until you make the unconscious conscious, it directs your life and you call it fate. But the reverse is also true. As you make the unconscious conscious, through dreams and honest self-reflection, you reclaim the power those hidden forces held over you. The patterns that kept repeating start to make sense and begin to change. The self-sabotage that felt inevitable becomes something you can finally see and address. The parts of yourself you'd exiled into the shadow come home, adding their energy to your conscious life instead of undermining it from below. You move from being unconsciously driven to consciously choosing from fate to freedom, and it begins with the simple, profound act of listening to the messages you've been ignoring every single night. So, the choice before you is Jung's choice. You can keep waking up, forgetting your dreams, and dismissing them as meaningless noise, while the unconscious they come from keeps directing your life from the shadows, keeps repeating its patterns, keeps calling out in dreams you never answer. Or you can start to listen. You can remember your dreams, explore their images, ask what they're trying to tell you, and let the deepest part of yourself finally guide you toward the wholeness it's been reaching for all along. One path keeps you asleep, ruled by forces you refuse to see. The other awakens you to your own depths, your own truth, and the vast, wise, hidden self that has been trying to reach you every night of your life. So I'll leave you with the only question that matters. Will you keep ignoring the messages your deepest self sends you every night? Or will you finally start to listen and let your dreams guide you toward who you're meant to become? If you're ready to stop dismissing your dreams and start hearing what your unconscious has been trying to tell you, then comment, "I'm listening now" below right now. Speak it into existence. Make that promise to yourself. Because the people who change their lives are the ones who decide, clearly and out loud, that they will, and this is your moment to decide. Because tonight, you'll dream again. Something inside you will try, once more, to speak, to show you a truth, point you toward a part of yourself, guide you toward your own wholeness. And you'll have a choice you've never really had before: to wake, forget, and walk away like you always have, or to listen, finally, to the deepest part of yourself and discover that the dreams you've been ignoring were never noise at all. They were letters from you to you, and they've been waiting all this time for you to open them.